Be exceptionally clear, there were bunches of gay people in hip bounds, harking back to the 80s, to hip jump wearing skirts, or hip bounds being closeted, and having a plenty of children to demonstrate masculinity. And Wendy Williams had a rival of certain photos of Puff. And it created the impression that a man was pulling down his jeans. Her hair ought to be cleaved off their mind. Ought to be, that is the manner in which I feel about someone taking something from someone that ain't dead he's out. By getting stuff back in 2020, Wendy Williams was banged for saying gay men ought to quit wearing our skirts in her heels on one episode of her daytime syndicated program. Take a gander at Here Now, Gay Men You Won't Ever Be the Lady during the hotly debated issues tattle fragment of the Wendy Williams show. She Needs to in the crowd would observe Galen Teenagers Day, the Valentine's Day elective, promoted on the NBC sitcom Parks and Diversion. The previous tattle sovereign is referred to express things as they are a characteristic that has made her clash with industry fat cats, including terrible kid pioneer Diddy. On the off chance that you don't have the foggiest idea how terrible the two have fared, permit me to revive your memory. Well, melodic theater symbol, a creator of words, Wendy Williams is a multi-layered goddess equipped for some things, predominantly changing the essence of Broadway and reforming the word doing anyway when she's not killing your favorites. Being a relaxed love seat pioneer, tattle sovereign Wendy is working up the hamburger stew with celebrities. And by hamburger stew, we mean battles, dig battles, fights even. Yes, moderator Wendy Williams is fit for fights now. We don't mean clench hand quarrels. We're talking over something substantially more excruciating shade. Wendy is an expert peruser, and she began fights with everybody from me breaks to lean rhymes. She's ostensibly perhaps of the most detested individual in Hollywood, and Diddy is perhaps of her greatest setback, a move that nearly taken her life, as the music leader left her snared on drugs. The best thing about fighting Wendy, her authority title, on the off chance that you didn't know, is that she'll screw with anybody they haven't did it. That is the reason we weren't surprised when Wendy affirmed Jingle was gay in 1998, while filling in as a DJ for Warm 97. So what Puff Daddy truly do consequently get her started behind closed doors for? Spreading lies. Wendy has since fixed things up with PD well, in some measure as far as she could tell, and over it positively. And he's additionally ready to be done. When he said for Driven Television, we're certain did he is on a yacht, someplace wearing all white, getting no realities about M's Williams' trickeries. Since his underlying ascent to distinction as an individual from terrible kid amusement bits of hearsay have circled about the hip jump magnate and maker's sexuality, in spite of far-reaching suspicions that the man-conceived scene brushes is gay. He has had various broadcasted associations with ladies, including the late Kim Watchman, and they have fathered various kids, including Christian Brushes, who is likewise looking for a profession in the diversion world. Yet that didn't prevent Wendy from spilling pictures of Diddy, demonstrating that he isn't generally so straight as we suspected. Wendy even guaranteed that she had the proof she generally needed against Puff. She claimed that she had a sex tape of Diddy Brushes having butt-centric sex with rapper Nutcase. Well, as you might envision, that didn't soak in well with the charming terrible kid honcho. And his response has been crushing for the previous anchor person, following uncovering Diddy issues, began gushing in for the television sovereign for quite a while, and even today. And past, I have been residing in a level-headed. Wendy has for some time been open about her past battles with chronic drug use, so the star's genuineness in uncovering that she'd been remaining in a clear-headed residing house back in 2019 shocked no one. Tragically, those near the once regarded media character, except that Diddy is the person who promised to destroy Wendy's life and get her snared on drugs a home lights out by 10 p.m. So I go to my room, and I gaze at the roof, and I nod off to awaken. I have been residing in a level-headed house. You realize I've had a battle with cocaine in the past, she said on the Wendy Williams show in 2019. I never went to a spot to seek therapy. There are individuals in your family. It very well may be you. I believe you should know a greater amount of the story, yet only multi-week. After her declaration, the day-to-day mail revealed Wendy was hospitalized after she was found alcoholic, and looking at herself of her clear-headed residing house, she has not tended to the report and facilitated the Wendy Williams show. As expected, the television character had gotten back to her eponymous daytime talk program, subsequent to requiring a 2-month rest to keep an eye on a cracked shoulder and her grave sickness and immune system illness that influences the thyroid. After making her revisitation of the past addictions, let the crowd know that once you're a substance victimizer, you need to fight that until the end of your life. Separate is whack, yet it was excellent to me at an especially dumb point in my life. She told the crowd I was a wreck working, committing suicide. I understood that I am a mobile junkie. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? You can't simply tidy it up and stop it and think that it won't influence you. Wendy, who became well known on New York and Philadelphia radio, proceeded to uncover that she quit her medication propensity unexpectedly before her 29th birthday celebration. I had squandered a ton of my life, consuming my internal parts, which aren't scorched, say thanks to God. Yet no one can really tell when it could spring up. She said, I continually need to watch within my body due to hard celebrating in addition to the thyroid or wreck. I didn't think of it as an issue. She uncovered in 2014 of fiddling with cocaine as an undergrad, basically in light of the fact that I had no cash to fuel the propensity, except for in the wake of handling a fantasy cake as a circle jockey on New York City's workstation in 1989. I was making $60,000 per year. And at $35 a gram, cocaine was modest, said Williams. I was a youthful Jersey young lady, flipping around the city. She said I needed to live like there's no tomorrow. Wendy focused on being a working fiend and her cocaine propensity during her days chipping away at the radio after her fight with Diddy, while additionally attempting to stop the propensity. The music tycoon utilized his leverage to guarantee the radio personality can't escape drugs, since I smoked blast from a brake pipe. I was a working fend, however. I would answer to chip away at time, and I strolled in, and all of my collaborators, and including my supervisors, would be aware. Yet, rather than terminating me, you see, I would get my earphones and pompously stroll into the studio and challenge them to fire me, since I was making evaluations. She told Amusement. This evening a working fan has a few morning timers. You're coordinated. It's a supernatural occurrence. I had the option to stop when the nitty-gritty life in the pains of habit in a 2013 Nepalese rupees interview, in which she depicted getting her fix in the Bronx late around evening time. This is before phones, standing by very much like a genuine companion, looking out for Jerome Road at 3 a.m. toward the beginning of the day as a solitary lady with a flourishing vocation here in New York. She said, say thanks to God, I never got come by the police to disgrace my family and myself and lose my employment. Say thanks to God, I never got assaulted, burglarized, or killed in a back street. Say thanks to God, my heart never palpitates to the point I was dead in my condo. And it appears what befell Wendy is occurring once more. This opportunity to entertainer Jamie Foxx, who has supposedly been circumventing specifying the wild sex parties did he used to have during the 90s, and Jamie was there to record. All that much has been said about Jamie Foxx throughout recent weeks, and the consequence of the entertainer encountering an unexpected issue on the arrangement of his new film. Explicit data on the reason for his hospitalization has not been delivered. However, there have been various reports on his condition. Actually, only a couple of days prior, Fox ended his quietness by sharing his very own concise message via virtual entertainment. Now, only days after the fact, an insider has given a report on his condition, and some will definitely be delighted to realize that it's uplifting news. Not long after the star's circumstance played out as truly newsworthy, Fox family put out an announcement in which they said that the Alistair was at that point en route to recuperation. By the by, he's purportedly stayed in the emergency clinic, since specialists have been running tests, the supposed subtleties that have been shared have to some degree fluctuated throughout recent weeks, and thus various fans have shown a lot of concern by means of web-based entertainment, yet on the off chance that one source is to be accepted, they might have the option to get their aggregate breath, the anonymous individual said Jamie is steady, and not in a hazardous circumstance. Now the entertainer wound up in such a miserable state subsequent to giving everything away on Diddy's gay gatherings. Diddy once upon a time. When Diddy had each of the tunes out, he was so popular, we were unable to get into our own clubs at law. Like we go in the club in a past meeting on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Jamie Foxx discussed showing Diddy how to party on a careful spending plan. The pair had a fascinating beginning to their fellowship, with Foxx acting like a videographer to the Terrible Kid Records' Big Shot. They began celebrating together at certain gatherings. Diddy would he set up a party and said, "You Playboy, this party costs $1.5 million. I'm like, you are utterly crazy." He said, I said, "Puff, I will set up you a party for $400 that will match this party." Foxx let Diddy know, who appeared to be a cycle insulted from the start, yet ultimately obliged it. The following time he was in Los Angeles. When he at last showed up in La, he advised Foxx to get it going. Foxx added, by saying that he would welcome 200 of the coolest individuals he knew to the party. I said, "Puff, investigate there on the supper table. I got Kentucky seared chicken. I put it on a decent plate. I got Coca-Cola. I put it in a pitcher. We are at $208. And we're killing it right presently." Foxx said Foxx has been known to facilitated a lot of house gatherings. Some time ago, considering a particular objective, I was attempting to get into music around then. So I would toss parties for an explanation. And in light of the fact that Diddy was so well known in music, I had a studio in my